3 experiments could end this. Everything we think we understand about how psychedelics heal the mind, the decade of trials, the FDA breakthroughs, the billions in investment, all of it rests on a single assumption. And 3 experiments could prove it completely wrong. The leading model says this: psilocybin works by unlocking a serotonin gateway. Block that receptor, block the effect. The molecule binds, the brain becomes plastic, rigid thought patterns dissolve, depression lifts, OCD quiets, trauma releases its grip. 10 separate research domains arrived at this same doorway: neuroscience, psychiatry, pharmacology, contemplative studies, near-death research. They weren't collaborating. They weren't even reading each other's papers. But they kept finding the same mechanism. That convergence is supposed to mean something. When unrelated fields discover the same signal, we call it truth. But what if they're all wrong together? Here's what the evidence actually shows. Veterans with treatment-resistant PTSD, people who had tried everything, responded to psychedelic-assisted therapy when nothing else worked. The effect sizes weren't marginal. In one analysis, 5 of 6 studies showed clinical significance, quantified, a standardized mean difference of negative 0.85. In plain language, their symptoms dropped by almost a full standard deviation. The mechanism looked clear. Psilocybin triggers neuroplasticity. EEG studies captured it, happening in real time. The brain reorganizing itself in the hours and days after a single session. Weeks later, the fear had not returned. But then there is this. Same receptor family, same serotonin pathway, LSD. Patients taking LSD showed increased odds of suicidal thinking. Not decreased, increased. Psilocybin and MDMA reduced suicidal ideation. LSD, binding the same receptor class, activating the same plasticity cascade, produced the opposite outcome. Same system, opposite result. The model cannot explain this. If serotonergic plasticity is the healing mechanism, why does one molecule that triggers it reduce the urge to die, while another molecule that triggers it increases it? This is where the falsification tests become essential. First test: give psilocybin with a selective blocker that prevents it from binding the serotonin 2A receptor. If patients still improve, if the depression still lifts without the receptor being activated, the entire model collapses. The gateway theory is dead. Second test: measure whether the brain changes exceed what placebo produces. Not just whether psilocybin works, but whether the neuroplasticity it triggers is actually different from the neuroplasticity that expectation alone can create. If placebo produces the same EEG signature, the drug isn't doing what we think. Third test: track whether the acute network reorganization, the integration spike that happens immediately after dosing, actually predicts who gets better months later. If it doesn't correlate, the mechanism we've identified is an effect, not a cause. 3 experiments. Any one of them could unravel everything. This matters because medicine is about to change based on this model. Clinics are opening. Therapists are training. Regulatory pathways are being carved. The FDA rejected MDMA-assisted therapy last year, not because it didn't work in trials, but because the evidence wasn't sufficient for approval. If the model is right, millions of people with treatment-resistant conditions are waiting for relief that's already proven. If the model is wrong, we're building an industry on a mechanism we don't understand, using molecules that might heal one patient and harm another for reasons we cannot predict. The LSD suicidality finding isn't a footnote. It's a crack in the foundation. 10 fields converged on the same answer, the same receptor, the same plasticity gateway, the same promise. But 3 experiments could end this, and no one has run them yet. 10 unrelated fields just produced the same answer. Psychedelic therapy, meditation research, near-death studies, clinical OCD trials, all of them converging on a single brain state that shouldn't exist across such different methodologies. A serotonergic gateway that dissolves rigid thought patterns and reorganizes how the mind predicts reality. The evidence keeps arriving from directions that have no reason to agree.